Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a beginner's pour with two techniques. I'm going to do a dip where you dip two canvases together, and then I'm going to do a Dutch pour where you put a little paint on the canvas and blow it with a blow dryer, which I've only done a few times, so I'll experiment in front of you. I don't have much experience with it, so it'll be a surprise for me as well as you. And I wanted to quickly just show you how to mix one of the paints. And today I'm using, always for my black and my white, which is in the jug here, I always use Artist Loft Flow Acrylic white and black. They come in quarts at Michael's for $10, and they have basic colors and some neons, and it's a really great value. The paint is really rich and thick, so you can mix it and add Owatrol or other pouring mediums to it, and this lasts for quite a while. You can do many canvases with it, so it's a good value for a quart for $10. So they're mixed already, and everything else is mixed. 1 part paint to probably about 2 parts Owatrol. Owatrol is a European version of Owatrol. You can only get it on Amazon or from their website. It is in my Amazon link below the video. And it's a little thicker and richer than Owatrol, so that's why I put about 2 parts or so of this to the paint. And then you add water, because tube paint is always thick. If you were using a craft bottle paint, you could possibly get by with no water added. You would have to add water because Owatrol is a little bit thicker, but definitely with the tube paints. So I'm putting in this 3-ounce cup maybe about a ½ ounce of paint. Doesn't take much really. This is Master's Touch Permanent Red, Liquitex Basics Cadmium Orange Hue, Liquitex Basics Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue. This is Master's Touch Vermilion, which is an in-between of this orange and red. And so I'm going to add about 2 times or a little bit more of the Owatrol as opposed to the paint. Just mix really quickly. Make sure to scrape around the sides of your cup, scrape your stick off, and do that several times just to make sure that you get all that mixed thoroughly. And then it's going to be really thick, kind of like warm peanut butter. So it's kind of gooey still, and it has a mound when it lands on the surface of the paint. That is way too thick for pouring. So I'm going to add a squirt of water. My water has about 10% Owatrol in the water bottle and 90% water. So it just mixes into your paint mixture a little easier than just straight out water. If you put a little of that Owatrol or Owatrol into your water, it will just go in easier. And that's about where I want it right now. So it still lands in a mound, but it kind of pours off the stick like warm honey. I'm not going to add silicone to any of these colors. And there is enough of a, between the 3 of these, it's kind of close. These are kind of close. And then the red is pretty good. I may put just a drip of red paint in that vermilion, just to deepen it slightly. I want enough of the difference between the 3 colors, but I want kind of the Halloween fire colors is what I'm going for. This is a Halloween inspired pour with the Halloween colors. That this is what feels like Halloween to me. You can always adjust your colors. You don't have to just use what's strictly in the tube. So maybe one more drop. I want that in between stage. So I'm going to try this, and it should be pretty good. And because I added a little more paint, I might need to add just a little drip of water. Owatrol mixture. Again, the water is 90% and then 10% Owatrol or Owatrol. It just mixes into your paints smoother and quicker than it does when you add straight water. So that's a good consistency. And I feel like that's a little bit more of an in-between color between those two, so that works for that. So we're going to do a flip cup first. And also, I'm not using any silicone or OGX in my paint today, which causes cells. I'm not really looking for cells. I'm just wanting pretty patterns. So I'm just checking the consistency. Sometimes after you mix them, they sit for a little bit. They thicken up on you just a bit. So just checking the consistency. All right, so I've got 2 canvases, and what I'm going to do is put a base coat of white, and this white has been sitting for a while, so it's probably going to come out lumpy. Now you're probably going to see me, I'll probably just fast forward through that part, but there's probably going to be lumps. I'm expecting it. And now I'm going to take what's on the thing here and just kind of run my finger around the edges, just to put a little bit of white on the edges, because the white is different from the primer color. When you take your canvas out of the package, the white primer is just a little different colored white. So I'm just basically making sure that this white goes over the edges. That way, if any of the color drips over the edges, I'll have the white there too, and it'll make a prettier edge. Now, I'm not really totally worried about bubbles or anything like that. We can pop bubbles if you need to. If you have a lot of bubbles, you know, you can. That's not going to affect anything that happens with your pour though. I just thought this might be a pretty effect, and it may not be. I may be totally wrong, but I'm hoping for a pretty dip. And they're fun and easy to do, and a great way to start when you're learning how to do acrylic pours. So I'm just going to pour a few strands of paint, and you don't need a ton of paint to do this. So we're just going to do it on one canvas though. And if you have these little paper cups, to make it a little bit easier, you can kind of make you a little spout by pointing that tip. So I'm going to do the orange next. And this is more paint that I'm going to need already, but I'm going to do the vermilion. But I could literally just do one small strand, and that would be plenty. And now I'm going to do the yellow. This is one of those techniques where you really don't know what you're going to get till it's done too, which is kind of fun. It's a surprise. and then the black. I don't want a lot of black. Okay. So there's a little drip. Get it out with my fingertip. I'm going to turn this canvas over. Put it down on top of the other canvas, and when you do that, it's going to kind of slide around. You just kind of press firmly. You can press with your hand, and if you have a lot of paint like I do, it's going to be slippery at first, really. Okay, and it's going to squeeze out in between the canvases too, and that's okay as well. Alright, so let me move my cups out of the way just a little bit. And it's going to have a little bit of a suction from the two canvases touching. So I'm going to move it over just a bit. There it is. And I put them vertical so then the paint kind of goes downwards. You can do it many different ways. There's no right or wrong way to do a dip, but no silicone, and I've got lacing and cells going on, which is pretty. So I can use a heat gun or torch and add a little heat to it. So that is all there is to a dip, and you could add stuff to it. You can continue to add stuff just on top of the canvas, but I'm just gonna, I think, leave this one as is. You could literally put the canvases, you know, this way and make a long picture. You can put them beside each other. You can turn them the other way. So there you have it. Little Halloween inspired colors.